Teresa told me you obtained these credentials in Yemen from a North Korean agent. I dealt with another North Korean agent in Kyrgyzstan. If you read my mission report, you know that I was sent to Tash Kumyr to retrieve the bioweapon container that we knew Yushchenko had sold. I knew from my sources that a North Korean agent was coming that night to purchase it. I had to stop the deal from going down. The village guards bought into my old peasant woman disguise, but warned me to keep to myself. Saydahmat's men were not to be trusted. If drunk enough, they would have cost anyone. But if they bothered me, they would get more than they bargained for. I didn't have any firearms, only my throwing stars. I couldn't afford to make any noise. If I set off any alarms, the deal wouldn't go down and I might not get the container. What you don't know from reading my initial report is that I was also sent to carry out a DPE order on Saydahmat. Getting to him was going to be tricky. All the more reason to keep to the shadows. I didn't have any firearms, only my throwing stars. I couldn't afford to make any noise. If I set off any alarms, the deal wouldn't go down and I might not get the container. What you don't know from reading my initial report is that I was also sent to carry out a DPE order on Saydahmat. Getting to him was going to be tricky. All the more reason to keep to the shadows. They ran a pretty tight operation. A buyer would come to the village and wait in the central square. Saydahmat's courier, Dasbol Samayev, would take an order and the money and go to the actual armory. The buyer never got to see it. Advanced recon showed that almost everyone in the village was involved in the arms trade. Anyone out at that time of night was certainly going to be a legitimate target. But I knew that if I took out one of Saydahmat's thugs, I'd have to do it where no one could see me, and I had to hide the body in the shadows. My disguise was pretty solid, so long as I didn't act suspicious or get too close to those leering guards. They were all pretty heavily armed. I could have taken any of their weapons, of course, but there was no reason to. The sound of a gun would set the whole place off. Here's where it got tricky. I had to eliminate Samayev after he got the container from the armory. There were guards everywhere, so I had to wait until some moment when he was out of sight of the guards. I picked my spot carefully. Evidently, the North Korean agents weren't the only terrorists looking to buy arms. I ran into a Yemen terrorist I later found out was Zayed al-Dahiri. I didn't have a DPE order, so I issued a field order.
Все, приятель. Контейнер. Будь внимателен. Не думаю, что он что-нибудь планирует, но я никому не доверяю.
I waited until just the right moment, then hit him with a poison star. Part 1 of the mission was complete, but now I was racing against the clock. I had to find Saydahmat's house, break in, and execute the DPE order. I didn't have much time because Sokju Yang was not going to wait very long before he'd start asking where his container was. I didn't want to pick out something too sexy to wear onto the streets, or it would cause too much distraction. Hidden completely out of the way, I found a stash of Saydahmat's personal files. In it were more of Yushchenko's papers. At some point, I forgot that I was on a dangerous mission. I was having so much fun changing outfits.
Кто ты? Где Самаев?
I'm Saydahmat's mistress. Samayev has sent me in his place. He's working out some problems with the funds transfer on our end, but says funds have been verified. Here's your product.
Что?
He humbly apologizes for the delay. He does not wish to keep you waiting any longer.
Это очень нестандартный ход. Но раз он так говорит, я думаю, он не послал бы тебя, если бы было что-нибудь не так.
Sokju seemed pretty surprised to see a concubine show up instead of Samayev, but he bought the story completely. Men can be pretty gullible, show a little skin, and their brains just seem to shut down. Now I had to duck out of sight, lose the guards, and wait for Sokju to reach a secluded spot. Then I would make my move. Finally, Sokju moved into the shadows. I was ready with a poison throwing star. I knew I had to wear something provocative to get past the guards into Saydahmat's suite. were so skimpy they felt like nothing but strings.
А ну иди сюда. Вас не учил.
Once I got past the guards and into the suite, I simply had to eliminate them, then slink back out. I hadn't counted on the laser tripwire warning system. Pretty high tech for a yak herder. But I knew how to deal with it. I really hated changing back into that old Sherpa woman disguise. Clothes really do make the woman. At last, I'd made it to the gate. Soon, I would be at the LZ and on my way home. The mission was a success.
You finished the mission in record time. Awesome work. Cobra managed to not get killed. Cobra's earned a new commission.
Anyway, I'm sure Saydahmat's thugs had quite a few surprises waiting for them in the morning. Yeah, they'll find someone to take his place, but I shut down at least one illegal source of weapons. For a while. And with this evidence you found in Yemen, we're one step closer to solving this thing. I'm going to have Teresa start putting more feelers out in the east. Might have to pay another visit to Tokyo, or Seoul.